Everyone, I think we're going to get started here. And just as a message before we get into it, if you do have a question throughout this presentation, we want you to feel free to type that question into the chat box and we'll answer it when we get a chance. And additionally, I want to just let everyone know that a recording of this webinar will be sent out to everyone following the presentation as quickly as we can get that together. All right. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar. My name is Anthony Janetta, and I'm a content marketing specialist with the Olson Group. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Adam Hall and Heath Bodie. Adam Hall is an employee benefits consultant with the Olson Group. Adam has more than 11 years of experience in the industry and has worked with multiple employers to address the rising costs of healthcare through innovative strategies. Heath Bodie has been leading the NHCA since March 2010. As president and CEO of the NHCA, Heath helps the state's nursing homes, assisted living facilities, licensed practical nurses, and hospital associations advance their education, careers, and knowledge to provide quality care. Adam, Heath, welcome.
Thank you. This is great. I am excited to be on this Zoom with your webinar with you today. Mostly because what it means for us as an association and for you as a provider here in the state. And so I think you've heard from us before from either Adam and his team at Olson Group or from us at convention last, I guess it was this spring, that today is really sort of a final push to get interest and information related to your potential interest in an association health insurance plan. So just a real quick recap. Many of you had been reaching out to us as the association since the Affordable Care Act unfolded and said, boy, we've got to have a different option. And there wasn't much options for us until last fall when President Trump opened things back up again where association plans not only could happen, but frankly made some sense. And there was some other parameters around that that probably aren't worth going into today. So this is an effort by the association leadership, by the Olson Group, to support you in your workforce efforts, to give you meaningful health insurance for your employees, maybe to have some opportunities to join together from an economies of scale, if you will, and frankly, the ability to shape our future over the next number of years. You know, we talk a lot when we're in front of each other about how this business feels like it's pretty uncontrollable. And one of the things that has come up many times is the cost of health insurance. While we don't have a solution that's going to completely flip the cost notion on its head by tomorrow, this is an opportunity for us to join together and to create some good behavior and do some of the right things. So as a profession, we can shape our future in that way a little bit going forward. And so I'm excited. I'm excited that we're here, that this is an opportunity. I'm excited that the board and the Olson Group have supported this effort on your behalf. I've heard from many of you that said, boy, this is something we need. And today is really sort of another effort to try to wrap up the work that we have to do to get to the finish line on this association health insurance project. So Adam, as I hand it back to you, I would just say thank you to you and your team. I'd encourage any member that's interested in looking at this, if this, jump in, let's see if this makes sense for you. Let's see how we might be able to join arm in arm on something so important like taking care of your team members through their health insurance benefits. So Adam, thanks for letting me have a minute. Thanks for all the work you guys are doing, and I'll toss it back to you.
Thanks, Heath. We appreciate your team as well. We have, and thank you everybody else who are on the webinar. We have over 50 enrollees, so I want to appreciate your time. Can you see my screen, Heath? Okay, perfect. Today's agenda, some of this is going to be mimicking the webinar I did on the first press release, but really today's agenda, I want to talk about the eligibility, some of the structure, the rating, and some of the commitment that we need to really get this pushed forward and where we're at today. Right now, we have roughly a little over 40 facilities that are submitting their information and participating in the association health plan. We're expecting a little bit more. So I think that is a really good start. I'll talk a little bit about the Olson Group, really what we're passionate about and really excited with the NHCA health plan. Just a little bit about the Olson Group. We are a employee benefit consulting firm in Omaha. We have roughly 150 employers throughout the Midwest. And really, I want to tell you a story of really why we do what we do. Really, since the ACA, one of my first clients was a long-term care facility in a small town. And the ACA rating structure really took its toll on this facility. And there was a nurse that was kind of the breadwinner in this small town. And when the rates really went up, she was basically the health insurance was unaffordable. And during open enrollment, she went to high school with me, so she was really crying on my shoulder. She was the breadwinner. She couldn't afford it. And I almost gave up in my career and went a new direction, but we didn't stop. This is something that we really want to do. And we're excited it's finally here. So with that, I want you guys to ask yourself, why do we want to join the consortium? How many times in the last couple years have we pass on deductibles, co-insurance? We've lost raises due to health insurance. And also year after year, what kind of strategy are we doing with our healthcare budget? Is there predictability, sustainability? And we feel that this is a solution that we finally have for this industry. We have 7 plan designs, 3 different networks. This is going to be a large leverage of a single large employer. Right now, I suspect a little over 2,300 enrolled lives, and that will continue to grow throughout the year. It's really going to reduce the volatility in the marketplace and create a long-term strategy. To be eligible, you do have to be a dues-paying member of the NHCA Consortium, also an employer providing nursing in the state of Nebraska, assisted living, home health agency in the state. So those are 2 eligibility requirements. The structure is fully insured with Blue Cross. I know most of you do know that by now. I'm going to talk about the rating structure in the next couple slides, but any terminations from the association, you must have a written notification within 60 days. Because this is a long-term strategy, if you decide that if you're in the plan today and next year you want to go to another avenue, there will be a 2-year waiting period before you want to get back in. To do this, we want to create that this isn't a Band-Aid fix. It's a long-term strategy. We're all in this together, and we want to create that stability in the marketplace with your healthcare budget. Employers' eligibility requirements, you can have benefits, minimum hours between 17 and a half up to 30 hours per week. Employer contribution requirements. Blue Cross does have a requirement where you must pay 50% of the single employee premium. Any dependents, if you have the cash flow, you may contribute to any dependents or even more than 50%. That is up to you as a facility on your own. If there's anybody on here today that may decide to wait and maybe their renewal, they just renewed, they can get on throughout the plan year. So if, let's say for instance, you have an April renewal, you can wait to come on in 2020 if you decide to. And one of the biggest things that we push for with Blue Cross is they will allow deductible and max out-of-pocket carryover credits. So if you're with a UHC or an Aetna or even a Blue Cross, they will give you carryover credits. So I know that's came up quite a bit with our facilities is, you know, if I've maxed out my out-of-pocket already and we decide to do this consortium, Blue Cross will honor that credit for any individuals that have satisfied the deductible max out-of-pocket. Here's just a snapshot. I know we've sent out the plan designs with NHCA. I'm just kind of briefly go over. There are 3 PPO options and 4 qualified high deductible plan designs. Each group can choose up to 2 plan designs. And that could be 2 PPO options, 2 high deductible plan designs, or 1 of each. So there is some flexibility there. And again, here's the high deductible plan designs. There's also 3 different network options. There's Network Blue, Premier Select Blue Choice, Blueprint Health. The 2 Blueprint and Premier Select are the narrow networks. So if you see there on the map, if you're anywhere there, those are going to have some different rating structures. There's about 6% differential. So if you're in those areas and want to choose a different narrow network, you will have that option. So that's kind of nice. We'll have you know, some narrow networks that might create some rating structure that's more favorable to your area. And here's the rating structure that will happen in November. There is 6 rating tiers. So what that means is on the screen here, it has a 0.8, 0.9, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and 2.5. Kind of look at it as A, B, C, D, or F rating. How they're going to do that is basically with all the plan designs, there's a potential of 49 different set of rates. So when we gather the information for each group, you will be put on one of these 6 rating tiers. And when we talk about a sustainability and predictability for next year's renewal, let's say you're in that 1.1 or 1.2, you only are able to go either up or down. So if you have a bad year, you're only going up 1 rating tier, or if you have a good year, you could go down another tier. So that really helps from a renewal standpoint, and it creates some sustainability. And I'll give you an idea of what that rating looks like. There's another association plan out there, and they were in that middle to high, I would say D tier, and they were still 20% below what they were currently had today in the marketplace. So we feel that this is going to be a good structure going forward. Now, commitment. I know there's been a few facilities that have, from a structure standpoint, trying to get the data. We do need an enrollment census for those above 20 enrolled. That's really all we need is their current plan design, their rates, and a dependent level census. I know some facilities want to wait until we get the rates, but if everybody continues to wait, then it's going to be hard to get this off the ground. So I want to stress that we do need your commitment on this, and we got to have a deadline at this point to get this off the ground for November 1st. So we are going to have a deadline of September 4th, especially for those that are under 20 enrolled, because what's going to happen is when you submit the census for those that are 20 enrolled or below, we have to have Blue Cross send out the personal health questionnaires to your employees to fill out, and that can take some time. So we really want to do a hard stop for September 4th. And if anybody's on the fence, we're still going to need your census information. If, let's say, you're a January renewal, you still will have to submit that, because we're going to have to put you in the correct rating tier. We don't want you to be in a low tier and then all of a sudden have a F rating going next year. So we want to put you in the appropriate rating tier. So that's why we're doing that.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Maybe one point of clarification. You talked about the commitment, and if I understand it properly, the commitment at this point is to say that we're interested as being a provider, and that we would submit our census information. It does not make us commit without knowing the rates that we're in, no matter what. That's true, right?
Correct. So even if you submit your census and the rates come back and it's just unaffordable, or you want to go to another direction, you're not inclined to participate. So it's basically a look and see, so to speak. But it is going to be challenging with all the facilities that we have interested. We're going to want to know pretty quickly, that way other facilities can anticipate what the rate's going to be, because if, one large group drops out, there might be a re-rate. So we want to really strive to have a quick decision whether you're in or out, at least for this time being, so we can get it off the ground for November 1st. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hey, I do see that there was a question just a bit earlier. Maybe you want to handle it later, but let me just toss it out to you. That's just asking about what's the rating tier based on. My, non-involved understanding is it's your health insurance experience. Is that an accurate reflection?
Correct. However, there's a national pharmacy database that Blue Cross runs. And it's typically by zip code. So that's what they're rating their structure on with the census. And then the groups that are 20 and below, they're underwriting based off the health questionnaires that are established to Blue Cross.
Yeah, great. Also, did we send a proactive census document out to all the providers, or is it if they request one? Just walk through that really quick, how that went.
I believe we sent out the census when we had your list. We sent out what is required.
Okay.
If anybody wants to see the actual Excel doc that we need, we'll be happy to send that out to you.
Okay.
We'd like to have that in Excel, just because it is easier. And I can talk about. Hold on one second here. Some of what other facilities are doing, because of some employees don't really know if they're interested or not. What other facilities are doing is they're doing stationary computers. So they have one computer, they can all go in, do the personal health questionnaire, and it's done. They've kind of have a sign-up sheet. Also, sometimes from a payroll standpoint, a lot of facilities are doing payroll in-house. So what they're doing is requesting the information from their current carrier. That way it's a little quicker to get their dependent information and all their employees' information. So that's what some other facilities are doing, especially if, they may not have computers at home. They're just coming in one at a time and doing it on one computer. And here's the rest of the timeline. That it's pretty tentative at this point, but what we feel is If we could get that September 4th deadline, Blue Cross will have that underwritten in the next couple of weeks. We'll come back out to each facility and show you what the rates are to your current plan design, what they're going to look like for November 1st. And then those facilities can go back and see if they're interested, not interested. If any large employers are not interested, what that rate impact might be with Blue Cross. But we hope that that won't be an issue because of the lives that we have already. We also saw one this morning that has over 1,000 lives. So we feel that we have no problem getting this up and running and probably at a minimum of 2,000 employees. And then the final group decisions need to be back. So we'll play that by ear, and then implementation will go live for November 1st. If anybody needs open enrollment help, we're here. We have a dedicated team in-house that we will help with any facility that needs to get that open enrollment done by November 1st. So next steps, if anybody is interested still or need that census document, you can send an email to NHCA Health Plan at theolsongroup.net, or you can call our office at 402-289-1049 or 46. Sorry. Some other items have came up. You know, if there's other facilities that are outside the state, they are able to get in as long as they're domiciled. Some are domiciled in Nebraska. That is available, and have the following information ready. Number of employees seeking coverage, total eligible employees, and that's including waivers. And we'd like to have that deadline back by September 4th, if possible. For sure, we'd love to have the facilities that are 20 and below to have that back by September 4th. That way we can get that personal health questionnaire link back so the employees have enough time to fill it out. It is secured, so Blue Cross is the only person or the only people that will be able to get that data. We do not get that data, or NHCA, so that is a secure site. I have a question here. Will this document be available so we can review it with our staff during an all-staff meeting? Yes. Is there any other questions that we may have?
You know, Adam, I love this screen, and just sort of, in my mind, wrapping this up a little bit, this really is about the vision statement that the association leadership created a few years ago around inspiring people to shape their world. And so the idea here, you've used the term multiple times about long-term strategy, and this notion that this screen talks about banding together. And this is an opportunity for us as healthcare providers, and frankly, just employers in this case, to really join together arm in arm and potentially create a really long-lasting, controllable benefit for our team members across the state over time. It's simply an effort by the association to serve you as you try to engage and have meaningful benefits for your team members. And, you know, from our perspective, it's been great to have the Olson Group work with us. I'd really encourage you, if this is interesting at all, to work with the team at the Olson Group, fill out the census, and, you know, see where we can drive this together. Adam, I see somebody's in chat here. What if you have an employee that has other group coverage, but based on the information might be better off joining? Will this change the possibility of rates if they say yes, but then based on the findings drop off?
Not significantly. You would have to have well over, typically they want no more than 50% of the facility change in their census. So I believe that it wouldn't have much of an impact. So if you had, less than 25%, there's not going to be any rate impact at all. So if any employees decide they want to waive coverage for other group coverage, it's not going to have much impact. This is a little different from being on your own. If you're a 60 life group and half of you don't join your group plan, we've seen where carriers will re-rate to a higher premium. It's not going to have that impact with this.
That's a great point. Hey, we got another question here. If a facility chooses to use the health plan and their employees are eligible for the ACA, would they be ineligible?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you would be able to go on the marketplace or if they're eligible for an AC, yeah, they can get it on the marketplace if they choose to.
Okay.
But we had another question here. How many facilities do you have interested? We have almost a little over 40 facilities that are in the process of submitting information and filling out personal health questionnaires. And I would say around 2,000 lives.
And Adam, do you see that question right above Bob's there? When will the rates and tiers be available? Do you want to talk about that a second?
Yeah, I'm hoping if we can get everybody's information in by the 4th, that will probably be 2 weeks that we'll be pushing Blue Cross on. So I'm hoping probably mid to later half of September.
Great. Question to restate the ACA question. Can eligible staff opt to do the ACA if the plan is offered by the employer?
Yes, they can take a plan through the marketplace if they choose to.
On the chat box, Alan is asking if we can send out the plan levels that we showed today on the PowerPoint, Adam.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have the email? Can we send it out through the Zoom link, or how would we do that? Back through the association, or what makes sense?
Yeah, we can. What we'll do is we'll put the video up on our website, and also we can put this slideshow up on the website too, and we'll send it out so anybody has available for the actual. We'll put it in a PDF.
Okay. Hey, do you see Bob's question there at the bottom? They filled out the questionnaire. They currently have a group plan, and that group plan, it looks like, sent an application. Do they need to fill that out too also?
We filled out the questionnaire. We currently have a group plan and they sent an application. Do we need to fill out that application too?
Looks to me like he's referenced the current group plan's application as well as yours or ours.
Hey, Bob, we'll talk to you offline on that question, just so we have clarification on that.
Kristen's asking if she understood correctly, each employer will be able to choose 2 plan designs of the 6 offered. Is that correct?
Correct.
Good questions, guys.
Which percentage of eligible staff has to participate if we offer it? So that one is typically a requirement by carriers if they were on their own. Since this is a large employer, that's really hasn't been addressed, or it's not going to be an issue. So if you have 6 out of 50, you're still going to be able to have a plan.
And see, Adam, I think you're making a great point. Sally, I appreciate the question because it really goes back to highlight the notion that we're sort of one big employer altogether, one big pool of team members with the plan, which is another great example. So it protects us from the highs and lows, the volatility of being on our own. You know, if we're, I think, Adam, you said earlier, if we're 25, 30 lives in our own facility, well, now we're with 1,000 or 2,000 or 2,500 lives. So much more protection in that.
Yep, and we see that a lot with these facilities that have around that 20 to 60 enrolled lives. Sometimes you just don't get the participation, and then all of a sudden it becomes unaffordable. This is not going to take place with this.
Lori's asking about having copies of the video slideshow. I think you said you'd put that up on your on the website. We'll get that link out, I assume, Adam. True?
Yep. We'll
Okay.
put it on the website and we'll send it to all the participants.
Lori's also asking about, can they change plans with a 9/1 renewal, so only on a current plan for 2 months?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I see Cheryl's asking us to clarify. We're talking about a go live date of November 1st. Is that when the open enrollment would begin with a plan effective date of January 1?
That is the actual effective date. So that will be the plan start date. We'll do open enrollment in October.
So it really kind of goes back and emphasizes the point about getting the censuses in quickly. Fair?
Correct. There has been some things that came up with some of our current clients that are larger, that are in a January renewal. What we're pushing with Blue Cross is, since they're large enough and they want in, but their January renewal, we might be able to get something in writing that says, yes, we're in. However, we want to keep our renewal for January 1st. Blue Cross has allowed that to one of our larger employers, so that way it helps with these other smaller facilities. So that's going to be a great thing.
So Lori's did you already cover, sorry, I dialed that just a second. Did you already answer the qualifying event? The bottom question there from Lori? What is the qualifying event that makes it happen?
250 is the minimum to get this off and running, and we're well above that, 250 employees. So
Okay.
I think that's what, if I'm incorrect on that question, please let me know.
Okay. Yeah, Lori, if that's not what you're asking there, give us a heads up. So Cheryl's asking how we anticipate rates in the consortium being compared to the captive arena.
That's a good question. Cheryl, that's something that we'll address. I know that's came up with from a captive perspective. It just depends on the industry. I know some captives have different employers in a different industry, so it'll depend on. We'll look at that and address that with you when we go through this process.
Adam, I'm not seeing any more questions. Wait a minute. Nope. We have a March 1st renewal. How does that affect us?
If you decide to participate and submit your information and want to enroll and having a plan effective date of November 1st, you can do that. Again, deductibles out of pocket will be credited. What will happen is you can terminate your current coverage October 31st. If you want to wait March 1st, you can choose to do so. We will still need your information. If you do it now or later, you can still get on it March 1st. Or if you submit your information now and decide, yes, we want to go, however, we don't want to disrupt any. I mean, if the rates are better for November 1st, I would think you would probably want to jump to the better rating structure than March 1st, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially if there's no penalty to the team members with deductibles and those things, or out of pocket, sorry. Well, Adam, it looks like we've covered all of the questions that have been coming in. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, is there a pre-existing condition for non-covered?
Nope. This is an ACA plan. Good questions.
Great, yeah. Well, maybe I'll just, sorry, it wasn't really my place to grab it and chat. I'll just really encourage the members here, if this is interesting, please work with the Olson Group team and get your census in. Again, I'll just reiterate that there is some real upside for us as a large group, as opposed to each of you and us being by ourselves and taking those risks, you know, from volatility. So if this is something that's, you know, in your head and makes some sense, let's see how we can work together. We'll get some of the final details. And Adam, I just thank you and your team again for, I know this is quite a bit of hustling right now, but do appreciate you guys going through the work with us to try to get a plan for the association.
Absolutely. And one final thing, you know, if any employer is struggling with employees filling out personal health questionnaires, please reach out to us. We have some ideas. We could go out and actually help them enroll if they need to. I'm actually going to be out on the road the next few days. So if you need more information, I'm happy to stop at any facility for the rest of the week, as I'm going way out west tomorrow morning. So feel free to reach out. Really appreciate all the participants joining. And thank you, Heath. I appreciate it.
You betcha. Hey, two last, or maybe it's three last quick questions if we can. Is there dental and vision available in this notion?
Yes, we are going to expand a overall round out package. We're going to have dental, vision, life, voluntary, accident, critical illness, and then retirement will be down the road as well. And we'll have a wellness plan. So we'll have a full, robust benefit package. I know medical is kind of the focus, but that's the plan that we anticipate.
That's great. April's asking about, she joined late, when will the rates be available? April, that'll depend, the final rates will depend on how quick we get census back from interested parties, and then they'll be getting the final rating from from Blue Cross. And then finally, Linda's asking about, are we asking that they include employees that would be on Medicare in the census survey, Adam?
You can, or you can just put waiver.
Okay.
Or other group coverage is fine.
Okay. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate it, Adam. Appreciate you guys putting this all together for us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
See you, everyone.